Hi, my name is Amy Lafferty, and this is my Consciousness Raising Group Project presentation. The topic of my project was sexual objectification, and according to Psychology Today, sexual objectification is defined as treating another person's body as an object, and the value is based on their sexual appeal, and it neglects other aspects of the person, such as their thoughts, feelings, and desires, and other things besides just their sexual appeal is what the emphasis is on. And there are actual negative effects that come from the objectification. And one example of this is there was a study that had women dressed in either a swimsuit or in a sweater, and the experimenters had them do simple tasks such as math, spelling, or eating, and they found that the women in the swimsuits did worse on these simple tasks than the women who were wearing sweaters, and that they also ate much less. And this is due to the sexual objectification in our culture. And other negative effects include eating disorders have been linked to it, also other mental health issues, and it can also lead to increased sexual harassment and assault. And you can find objectification in our culture everywhere. You can see it in the media, in advertisements, in TV shows, video games, and a lot more. And I'm going to show you a few examples in the next few moments. Here you can see some examples of sexual objectification in advertisements. You can see that the emphasis of these advertisements is on the woman's body part, and that the products that they're selling really have nothing to do with the sexualized body part. Continuing with the CR group, the meeting was set in my living room. We had chairs and couches and set in a circular formation for everyone to sit in. We also had snacks and beverages such as chips, salsa, pita bread, and cookies, as you can see in the picture. There was also pop and water to drink, and one of the group members also brought some brownies for us to eat. I had an introductory presentation that I gave before we started the discussion. The presentation started off by introducing feminism. I gave a couple of definitions, discussed goals of feminism, and named a few feminist movements, such as the Equal Rights Movement and getting the right to vote. Next, I explained what a CR group was, what it was intended to do, and how it has been used in the past. I emphasized the importance of participation so everyone would be prepared to discuss. Finally, I delved into my topic of sexual objectification. I showed a video on YouTube by Lacey Green that gave a good introduction to the issue. I then explained further by showing advertisements and real-life examples of objectification in the United States, as you can see in the slide above. Finally, I talked about some of the real negative effects objectification can cause, as I spoke about earlier. After this, we started our discussion. I think the casual atmosphere helped the group members feel comfortable enough to begin the discussion, especially since they were chatting and snacking before the meeting started, and I have soft music playing in the background. The people involved in my consciousness raising group were my friends from high school, and I think that since everybody was already comfortable with each other and they already knew each other, that helped to keep discussion flowing, and it made people more comfortable in the atmosphere. However, it was difficult to get everybody together since everyone has different jobs, different classes, and different things going on. So I originally planned to have 2 meetings, but ended up only having 1 because of schedule conflicts. So although we were only able to have 1 meeting, I still think that this group of people was able to really communicate with each other well, and everybody really contributed to the discussion. And I think that the comfortable atmosphere that we had really helped to spark the discussion and to keep it flowing naturally. As I said earlier, our discussion and our meeting started with me giving a presentation about what CR groups are, feminism, and what sexual objectification is. But after my presentation, at first the conversation was kind of slow to get started. But I asked everyone if anyone had ever experienced any personal objectification in their life, and one of my friends actually said that the week before she had been eating a banana at lunch, and one of her coworkers was shocked that she was eating a banana in the workplace, and they said that they thought that it was kind of unprofessional and that it kind of gave the wrong message. And my friend was shocked, and she pointed out that one of her male coworkers had already eaten a banana and nobody had even noticed. So this kind of shows that there's so much sexualization in our culture that even something as eating a banana is so sexualized. You know, maybe the lips or the imagery of just eating a banana was enough to make someone in her workplace notice. After that, all of the others chimed in with their own examples of objectification in their life. And once everyone had gone around and given a personal example, the conversation started to lag again. However, beforehand, I had prepared a list of possible topics to talk about during our meeting. So we started covering those topics and discussing everything there. Here is the list of possible discussion points that I prepared beforehand. And we ended up getting to and talking in depth about almost all of them. So that was pretty cool. Although we covered a lot of the issues and meaning of sexual objectification, especially what I wrote about in my questions to ask list, part of the conversation ended up deviating into general feminist issues. Some of the things that we talked about were abortion and contraceptives and laws about that, discrimination in the workplace, kind of as I mentioned above as well, my last example, focus on appearance for women, and the general inequality between men and women. And we also talked about the treatment of women to each other. So even though we deviated from my original topic, I thought that it was good to talk about kind of general feminist issues because a lot of my friends weren't really familiar with them and had never really thought that much into it before. And it was also interesting to see all of the different perspectives and interesting to talk about the other topics as well. I think that it was a good break to go from the sexual objectification into other general topics. I think it kept everyone interested and kind of on their toes. However, it made the group not quite as organized as I expected it to be and not focused on one topic. So we probably could have went more in depth with the sexual objectification topic, but instead we ended up talking about more broader issues. I still think that it was good to talk about other problems for women though. Last but not least, I think that this CR group experience was pretty cool actually. I really enjoyed the discussion that I had with my friends, and I also like that everybody contributed. There was not one person who was talking the most and someone who was hardly talking at all. I think it was pretty equally distributed. And I really felt connected with my friends more than usual since we were all talking about issues that kind of pertain to us and issues that a lot of us cared about. So that was really cool to be. And I think something that I would do different next time would be to have more meetings. As I said, a lot of my friends weren't really familiar with kind of feminism in general, so I think it would have been good to spend a meeting talking about that and then to go deeper into a certain topic like sexual objectification. I also think that next time I would like to do a group with women of more different backgrounds because like I said, I've known my friends since high school for a long time. We all grew up in the same hometown. We all have gone on to higher education, so we kind of all have similar perspectives. I mean, there were some different ones, but I think that it would have been cool to see what, women who come from different walks of life think about these issues that we talked about. So I would definitely do that different next time. And I think that it was kind of cool that I learned that the consciousness raising group, it really does help spread feminist ideas and feminist theory. Like I said, we ended up talking about a lot of different feminist topics, and a lot of my friends ended up, really caring about these issues too. And I think that they will continue to think about it in their everyday life, even though it wasn't something that they really thought about before. So I think that it really kind of helps spread feminist ideas, and that was also very cool to see. I definitely think that the consciousness raising group would be relevant today. However, there are a lot of internet resources in this time, which I think could also help spread feminist ideas and do what CR groups were originally intended to do. There's a lot of ways that you can connect with people through the internet and different resources of communication that we have today that they didn't necessarily have back in the 60s when these began. However, I think that there is more of a connection that you get with people when you're face to face. and there's nothing really like live time talking in person with somebody. So I still think that CR groups meeting in person is more effective than being online. And with CR goals, I think that they're still relevant today. It just depends on current movements. However, I think that a CR group gives you the ability to talk about many topics, as I did in my group. We started with a focus on one topic, but we ended up talking about a lot of things. I also think that they help promote understanding of oneself and others and current issues. I know that I learned a lot about how I feel about sexual objectification, other feminist issues that we talked about, and how my friends feel. And I think that we really helped each other during the whole experience. So overall, I really did enjoy it, and I'll probably do one again. So it was a great experience.